And
All
here we
right.
go. All right, so
Great.
we're back after a long time, but everybody's gotta take a vacation, right? So it's me and my
Absolutely.
charming co-host Angel, and we're about to talk about some movies, and one new one, which is One Battle After Another, just came
Hmm.
out like last couple of weeks, and one actually from the end of the '90s, Snake Eyes, which has some surprising parallels when you think about it with tragic but also very world changing recent events.
Event. Hmm.
And later on, we're also going to be talking about the Marvel move, which is also very surprising, and what the consequences of that are possibly going to be. All right. So first of all, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing wonderful. It's been a long summer, but yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks God this summer wasn't as hot as the previous summer.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of that has to do with global warming, but what about you?
Yeah. Well, I'm also mostly happy. Like I don't like it when it's that hot. Like it's just unbearable. You know, with the cold, at least you can put on some more layers. But in the summer when it's so hot, like you can maybe go swimming or just get an ice cream or something, a popsicle. But aside from that, like I don't know, like we don't believe in ACs, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
sucks. Which sucks. That really sucks. Especially if you want to sleep, and just watch a movie and be chill. But then like you're sweating like crazy, and it's just not that comfortable. Of course, like being
Mm-hmm.
outside in summer is fun. You can just wear a t-shirt or something like that. Just wander around. Um, Most people are outside just having fun, just doing that. Lots of concerts, lots of good movies. Funny enough, you think like summer would be the time you wouldn't go to a theater, but most like summer blockbusters, it's a summer blockbuster. Like they show all those good movies in summer. They should show those actually in winter or like in fall when it's a bit more cold outside and you don't think about doing something outside all the time. It's weird. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the way it
Mm-hmm.
is. That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so did you get around to watch One Battle After Another? What did you think about it?
I did. I did. I
Yeah.
did. And I want to give a big shout out to the cast actually. The
Yeah.
cast was great. You
It,
had some
yeah, they were.
yeah, you had some, you know, legends in there. Number one and number two, like I was very surprised about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm,
Um, I I'm not too sure how other people felt about his role, but I think that in this role particular, I didn't see no Leonardo DiCaprio. It felt like, it was ghetto path. Like, I it was really great because a lot of times you watch Leo movies and you just like it's the same acting over and over again. He's a great actor, yeah, but this one I really liked. I really, really liked what he did. I love Tiana Taylor in that movie. I think she did an
yeah.
excellent job. And I think the movie had a great what's a concept to it. I really like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the cinematography was great. I do want to
Yeah,
give a shout out
absolutely.
to whoever that took care of the music. The music was
Yeah.
really getting you going in the movie, and so I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that as well. I'm Let's just focus on the positive things for now, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
the things that I did not like too much. But like I said, the storyline was great, and I actually the ending, it was an open ending, and I love
Yeah.
movies like that because
Mm,
it makes me want to see a second part. It made me
mm.
question, okay, where, like, is she going to meet her mother? So, and I guess it all
Yeah,
depends
definitely.
on, yeah, and I guess it all depends on, how well they doing now, in
Yeah.
sales and at the box office. But it was a good movie. I can't complain. I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the conversation. Seemed very natural, the flow. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah. Well, what about you? What do you think?
I'm pretty split with the movie, to be honest. Like I really think the cast was great. They did a good job with all they were given. Like some roles are surprisingly from the trailer. When you look at the trailer, some roles are surprisingly small, especially like
Mhm.
Tiana's part. I thought it was a
Mhm.
lot bigger, to be honest. But then again, like I had my doubts. You know, when they're shown and they were just talked about in the trailer, sometimes you get the sense that, oh, it's just gonna be talk about them and less screen time, and that's exactly what happened. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't know how you want to do this with with the spoilers. Guess we can just go all in. Really, like this is for people that really watched it. Like guys, if you don't want us to go like all in when we do those lives, like just tell us in the comments not to do that, and we're of course, you know, recognize that and don't do that in the future. But like for now, let's go all in. I think I like the performances of the actors. The cinematography was great, but I also saw it like on 70 millimeter at a
Mhm.
local theater around there. They have like a festival going on showing it on 70 millimeter, and then like the movie was released in a couple of formats. It was released in IMAX, it was regulars on film, Vista Vision, um, and I mean you can experience it all kinds of theaters and formats, and that's a cool thing, especially since it like visually it's stunning, it's really great,
Mhm.
and the music is also good. As already said, the performances, but then again, like I had some issues because I really couldn't get behind a character besides probably DiCaprio and Charlene, and I don't know the actor's
Mhm.
name, but Charlene, the daughter,
Mhm.
I thought like
Well.
it's very, you know, like you can relate to her position. She's 16 years old and she gets thrown in this life that's probably like it's pretty comparable to maybe Stranger Things, to Elle, that she's just got this huge burden, you know, on her shoulders just to perform. Like she can't be really a child. DiCaprio is kind of, you know, putting the pressure on her with those responder thingies, you know, those things that play the melody when they get closer to somebody who's from the same organization, like the melodies intertwine, and you know, like you can trust that person with your life. And that's just a lot for people who are just, you know, in their puberty trying to find out who they really are. And it's really, you know, all given to her who she is. She just has to find her way in that world around her, and she can't really figure it out herself who she is. Like it's already predestined for who she will be. And it's
Mhm.
I can relate to that. I can relate to Leo. He just or ghetto Pat or Bob.
Mhm.
That's that name is always coming up. Bob. Everybody's called Bob. Um, yeah, he just wants her to be safe, and I mean, I think like everybody can get behind that. But then again, like, yeah, let's actually get to the bad stuff in a minute. What else did I think was good? Like the Regina Hall thought I think like
Oh
for the
man.
little part she
Mhm.
was given, she also did a great job. Like you really got behind her and what she was going
Mhm.
through. Like she was just being a good soldier, really. And then of course Sean Penn, the
Mhm. Classic.
sergeant,
Legend.
no, not sergeant. He's a lockjaw commander. Is it the general
Commander.
commander?
Yeah.
Like some high ranking officer, that's for sure. Lockjaw. Um, just an overall super weirdo. And then, oh my god, the Christmas Adventure Club. Oh my god,
Mhm.
like that cracked me up. It reminded me so much of South Park when they had the Super Adventure Club with the chef going there. And you know, in the
Mhm.
end, like it turns out it's not some adventure club for people like being adventurous and going like on expeditions. It's just a bunch of pedophiles. It's acting like something that's just like an experience club where you just can go out in the world. No, it's just like kind of like a cover for pedophiles, just rich pedophiles. And yeah, it
Mhm.
seemed especially that way, and just like the parallels to that that they're like Hail Saint Nick, and you're like, no, it's like guess what you're trying to say is Hail Satan. That wouldn't that fit a lot better? Oh my god, like
Absolutely.
it cracked me up, and like the old fashioned like wallpaper they got in the back with the duck, and everything. It's just those rich douchebags, doing whatever they
Mhm,
want because they got the money and the influence to pull it off.
mhm,
I guess that was the good parts that I liked about the movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and also I guess who I also really enjoyed was Sensei Benicio del Toro's
mhm, mhm,
character. It's also really good. Um, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of good in this movie, but um, I don't know. Maybe let's get to the bad stuff. Like
mhm,
what are my problems? But I totally get the reasons why they were fighting. I the reasons and the topics they were standing up for and risking their lives. I totally get like that you want um to avoid those immigration camps, to
mhm,
have like for example the choice for an abortion, maybe like if you won't survive like childbirth, if you've been raped, like you want to have the choice to have an abortion. Like that's just something I can understand from a female perspective. But then like bombing buildings and basically like threatening people, gun violence, like I don't know. And then like uh Perfidia is her character's name, like
mhm.
Tiana Taylor's
Deanna Taylor.
yeah, character, like shooting the security guard. Like there was just something like you think about this, like can I get morally behind what this character is doing? And I guess maybe the movie tried to establish them, at least for me, as the good people. And I
Mhm,
totally get that Lockjaw and the police and like all those agents are established as the bad guys. I understand that. I also thought that those are the bad guys. I experienced it that way, but I didn't really think of like the French 75, the Revolution group, that Tiana and DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro, what they're who they're working for, that those are the good guys. I didn't really think that those are the good guys. I thought maybe they're morally gray. They're fighting for a good cause, but like the means they use to fight for those things are just, well, it's just a little overboard. Like it's just to they shouldn't blow up buildings. Like maybe you hit the wrong person, an innocent person. Like what are you doing with that? It's just domestic terrorism at some point. That was
mhm,
just my thought about it. And when you watch a movie for fun, and then when you go and watch a movie and you're gonna comment it at some point, you're gonna talk about it, you watch it differently. You're trying to analyze it while you watch it. And while I liked the movie, I enjoyed it. I had some gripes with it, and I analyzed it while I watched it. And my analysis was that it was just I couldn't really think of them as the good people, as the good guys, the French 75. And I
mhm,
wanted to root for them, but I couldn't really. I was just kind of, you know, I was a bystander. I was just watching from afar and thinking to myself, could I really, back them up all the way on what they're doing, and I couldn't. And I think it's a gripe from me somehow. But maybe they're
mhm,
supposed to be morally gray. Maybe that's like one of the questions that movie has for us as the viewers. That do you really back them up?
mhm,
What is it that they're doing? Is it like out of desperation, like voting, protesting silently? That didn't help, and now they're kind of they just have to go that route, to go to violence because it's like the
mhm,
last resort. That's how far it is. Like maybe that's something we should consider. Yeah. What about you?
No, I agree. Like it is something to consider. Um, wow. Overall, I think the
Mm,
message was very clear, and it made me a lot. And I'm not trying to go the conspiracy route, but
yeah.
it made me, and I guess this has a lot to do with the next film we're going to talk about, but
Yeah.
it's just quite interesting to me. You see something like that, and it makes me wonder if this is something that eventually is going to happen in the future, because as of right now, there's a lot of turmoil going on in politics,
Yeah.
what's going on in the streets and protesting and so forth. And it's just quite interesting that this was, released at a very interesting time.
Yeah.
Um, so overall, I think I love the, like I said earlier before, I love the concept of it. The storyline was great. What I really didn't like is actually two things. And
Mhm.
the first thing was in the very beginning, spoiler alert, by the way, in the very beginning
Yeah.
of the movie, it was extremely, extremely sexual. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was, it was, I mean, I mean, movies are movies, right? But I
Yeah.
think that it could have done, and mind you, Tiana Taylor did a great job at it. But I looked at it and I was just a little bit like frustrated about it. Like I was just like, where is this movie heading? This is not something that, it was very distasteful to me. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
leaning too much conservative on that aspect right now, but I didn't expect that, number one, and it I didn't like it. I think that was a little bit too much. It was a little bit too much. I
Yeah.
think they could have done it in a way where you would be able to understand what take place without being so vulgar with it.
Yeah.
So that is something that I didn't enjoy as much. Nevertheless, the second part really was, I understand this is a thriller, this is a action, and this is a crime, okay? And I
Mhm.
understand that they were trying to add this comedy maybe aspect a little bit in it. A perfect
Yeah.
example, when Ghetto Pat was at the phone booth and
Yeah.
was trying to, you get where I'm, okay, right.
Yeah. I
Those that
love
watched
that.
it, they understand. And I think it was great for the first, you know, couple of minutes, but
Yeah.
I felt like it was dragged in for way too long. And I got really frustrated
Yeah.
at it. You know what I'm saying? When I
They
when
play
I was
that
watching it.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah, they played that too much, because now it just like it kind of like it took away from the action and me being drawn into it. Like I
Yeah.
said, and I was just like, okay, well, where are we getting to it now? Like where's the action? Because this is going on for too long, and I think they dragged it a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And I understand they were trying to, shift the attention from him with the Hispanic dude, trying to
Yeah.
save all of those, illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just like that back and forth. It was just too much. And I think,
Yeah. They
I
overplayed
didn't
it.
come here. They overplayed it a little too much, exactly.
Yeah.
But the plot twists, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the little plot. I think there was one
Yeah.
thing, I don't know if you noticed, but there was one part when they were together in the apartment with the
Yeah.
Mexican dude, and the Mexican dude, not Mexican, but the Hispanic dude. I don't know if he's Mexican or not, but the Hispanic guy,
Benicio, like
Benicio,
the sensei.
he,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he was under the bed getting the weapon, and you
Yeah.
had Ghetto Pat basically arguing with this guy still about the passcode. And you heard Benicio say at some point, 850, 845. That was the code. He said 845. And it was just so funny because I guess the guy didn't pick up on it. But overall,
But
I
the
thought
thing is,
that,
it wasn't the code. I thought that too. I thought like that was the code, dude. Didn't you hear him say that? But then like there
right.
was like at the I guess it was something like there is time isn't real, but still like we have to follow it.
Mhm.
Something like that, something like very very like something deep, you know.
Well,
It's yeah.
remember, he never set the code. Actually, he ended up talking to his
No,
friend on the phone,
yeah,
and he said, "Oh, what kind
I
of
told
women
the
do I
code.
like?" And he was just like,
Yeah,
"Yeah," he
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like
What kind
Mexican
of pussy
substance,
do I like?
you know? Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that was hilarious, you know. But other than
It
that,
was
I think
hilarious.
everything. Yeah, it was hilarious. But I'll be honest with you, it's been a very long time where I watched a movie that, I mean, except for the ones that I told you about, like Mission Impossible was great, you know.
Yeah.
The other couple movies that we talked about, I don't recall, but this was actually good. The storyline, the plot twists were very
And it was
good. I was
original.
actually it was original, you know, it was
Yeah.
original. I mean, and the music was great. The music really
Yeah.
had me going in. I mean, it was great. It's just like I said in the very beginning, this whole sex escapade thing, that was a little bit too much for me. But I want to give a big shout out to Tiana Taylor because
Yeah.
I think that she gets a lot of credit, but she needs to get more credit because this woman, she does acting, you know, she does fashion,
Yeah.
you know, she does music, she does a lot of things, you know, and she played it. I was first skeptical when I seen Leonardo DiCaprio on the screen. I was like, wait, what is going on, you know? And
Mm,
then, you know, he was in it, and then you seen Regina Hall, you know, you seen the other
yeah.
guy who was the commander, all these legends, and I was just like, this is dope. This is dope. I mean, I
Yeah.
liked it. I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, about that, about the sexual part, actually, like the sexualization of her. I think it's, yeah, it may be distasteful, but I think it was fitting because lots of those guys, like, they got a fetish, you know, they're actually into those um um like women with a different ethnicity. And somehow, like the guy, he joins like this stupid adventure club, a Christmas adventure
Mhm.
club, and it's like, but that is all about purity. Like, we're white, you know, we came with a Mayflower, and we've been here, and we're the original Americans. But then, like, they somehow, like, they're closeted, maybe they're gay, you know, they're bisexual, or they're
Mhm.
into Latino women, Hispanic women, like black women, and they're kind of like, it's like they're kind of, you know, they got multiple personalities, you know. They
Mhm.
wanna love them, they wanna have sex with them, but then again, like, they're still too proud to kind of, you know, admit it, that they're actually all for you know, people with other ethnicities getting the same rights, you know. They're kind of twisted when it comes to that, and I think that was very realistic because, like, a lot of those exist.
Mhm.
And there was like, like, this is totally gonna derail our live stream. Like, we're gonna be all R-rated, but I don't care. Like, it's just how we talk. But, like, if you look at there was like a statistic, and I'm gonna show that on screen, of like what kind of porn people look at.
Mhm.
And it's like, for the regions, when you look at the regions, like, the most surprising stuff pops up, you know, what they're into, what they're looking for. And it's just yeah, it's very surprising. Like, you wouldn't think of those people that they're actually into that, or at all. Like, they would
Mhm.
actually condemn it and say, like, no, we're not gonna watch that. And those people are not even people, but then, like, they look for that. And whether it's a fetish, or they're like, I don't know, got multiple personality disorder or something like that. Whether that has something to do with that, they're twisted. And I think in that
Mhm.
movie, they actually show that, maybe not in a good tone, but they could have shown it a little more respect, like, with a not as graphic, but it is like that. And especially, like, black women, and Latin women, like, they're very sexualized in those communities.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
whether they like it or not, they may not think of them as you know, on the same level, but they do like them.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do like them. Yeah. And another thing I wanted to talk about, yeah, I thought the twist with the daughter actually being the lockjaws, it's also
Mhm.
crazy. Like, I didn't expect that at all. That was crazy. Like when the DNA test actually showed it, and it was like, oh.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
that was good.
straight from his mind. He was like, no, oh no. Actual consequences of his misconduct. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah. Overall I think like he's got pretty good chances at the awards. I think
Hmm.
it's definitely gonna have its place there. And yeah, I don't know. You said a sequel. I never even thought like of the movie as being material for a sequel, but then again, like yeah, actually I was disappointed to see so little of what were she's Tiana, right? It's Tiana.
Yeah,
Well, let me
Tiana.
look that.
Tiana
Tiana.
Taylor.
I always think of like the one from 1923, you had Tiana, you know? This is why I'm a little bit Teyana Taylor. All right. Yeah, Teyana Taylor. Got it. Yeah, Teyana, I actually was disappointed not to see more of her because for me, like at the beginning of the movie, I thought she was going to be the main character. But then it kind of shifted between DiCaprio and Charlene's character. And let me look up the actress name there. Um, where is she? Where are you? She's not even listed there, is she? That's weird. Where are you? Charlene. I'm generally too stupid to find it. Wow. Charlene. I Chase Infinity. Thank you. Yeah, didn't find her because they in IMDb they actually used their cover names. Willa and Bob.
Willa, yeah, Willa.
They're yeah, their new identities. That's why I didn't find her. Yeah, Willa because she has the new identity of Willa. Yeah, she also did a great job, and like I guess those two were kind of the main characters. Anyways, yeah, I would recommend it to people. As why I don't think it has that much of a rewatchability. I don't think
Yeah.
it has that. It's still a great watch, and it generally asks very interesting questions about like our current society and events that are going on, kind of the overreach that is going on. Yeah. All right. Then we got Snake Eyes. You actually texted me about that one, and I was totally blown away by the premise of that one. And
Hmm.
I thought, oh my god, it's so close to actually what happened to Charlie Kirk, and whether your beliefs align with him and what he said or not. Um, God rest his soul. It's very close to what happened in the movie Snake Eyes from 1989.
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
1998
Hmm.
with Nicolas
Hmm.
Cage. Give that one a rewatch. It's crazy. When I, you know, one of
Hmm.
the first things that caught my attention was first like the scenario so close, and the um Secretary of Defense, his name is actually
Hmm.
Charles Kirkland. That is
Hmm.
crazy. Like even a name is that close. The scenario with a boxing match with a
Hmm.
fight and everybody's distracted and that happens. There's like a shooter gunning him down while there's just everybody's distracted. It's crazy, like the parallels of that movie. And you know, nothing's confirmed, of course, but yeah, there's like a lot of people suspecting that there's just a conspiracy going on about this dude. What do you think?
Nah, absolutely not. I think that this entire story doesn't make any sense. And correlating that with the movie, a lot of people online were comparing parts of it
Mm,
to what took place to Charlie Kirk
yeah,
in that mindset. But it was almost like, like questioning authority, being skeptical of big systems, the whole idea of
yeah,
standing out against control. And, for those people that have been watching Candace Owens and her investigation on that matter, I, suggest you check out some of her videos because she's been doing an investigation with the whole public about this matter. And the story is just not sticking. It's just not sticking. There is something much bigger behind that. And it's unfortunate. I was not a supporter or a fan, but of him. I'm not too much of a fan of politics anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't think that anybody should be executed, you know,
Yeah,
lose
definitely
their
not.
family. And yeah, it's outrageous.
It
It's
is.
yeah. And it gets a lot of people scared with wanting to speak out, about,
Yeah.
how they feel. And it makes you question where freedom of speech is really going. It's
Definitely.
almost like, I think that a lot of people were just afraid of him because he was basically speaking what everybody else has been speaking out about, and
Yeah.
and the moment he started asking for the release of the, Epstein files,
Yeah.
he was started questioning, Israel influence on the United States, and that what's happening in Gaza was a genocide, So he
Yeah.
started to agree with these college students that have been saying things all along that is just not cool, right? And so now all of a sudden,
Mm.
the moment he started being vocal about it, something like this happened. And I think that it sent shockwaves to a lot of people,
Yeah.
um, to wanted to be careful what they saying online as well. But going back to the movie, I thought that the fights, the set pieces, everything was great, to be honest with you. You could tell that they put a lot of
Yeah.
effort in it.
Mhm.
It was like a mixture of loyalty and revenge. And, you had these secret organizations, or the deep state, if you want to call it, that
Yeah.
it made it seem like it's deeper than what it actually is. And I think that's exactly why a lot of people were able to resonate with this, because we live in this right now society where a lot of people feel like that, where a lot of people
Yeah.
feel like, hey, there's something much more sinister, much more deeper. People are in charge that we did not actually put there in charge. People are,
Yeah.
our politicians are being blackmailed. And it's quite interesting because it kind of like correlates with one battle after another, like that secret society that they had, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So but it's just, yeah, it's just, I don't know. A lot of times a lot of people saying, television is so, but if you spell television out, it really means tell a vision, so
That's true.
um
Didn't think of
exactly.
it that way.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tell a vision. You telling somebody a vision, and if they hang on and clutch onto it, eventually going to believe it, or they're going to not believe it, and they're going to think, oh no, it's just lies, it's just conspiracy, and this and that. But
Mhm.
overall, I think Snake Eye was, the concept over it. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of people have been watching it online. A lot of people pointed out that movie when that situation came out, and they was just like, I don't think that's a coincidence. So it is quite interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the character driven story about redemption, it's actually really great. I think that
Mhm.
it did lose a little emotional punch that could have made it a little bit more special. I don't know, maybe if they reboot it, because Hollywood is good for that, right? Constantly
Yeah.
rebooting things,
Yeah.
or take a darker
Definitely.
route the next time, it could actually work. But it felt still, I think it was just interesting how it was correlating with what we got going on right now in real time.
Yeah.
And that was the scary part. That was really like, what? That was the scary part. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I watched it in awe, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's crazy how much it fits with what we're right now going through." Like, the scenery was different. Like, it wasn't a YouTuber, an influential one at that. It was the Secretary of Defense, but like, it is crazy how much of that actually was in that movie back then, and
Hmm.
how accurate it really is. But then again, like to the movie, I thought it was well made, and Nicolas Cage, of course, as an actor, was like to see. And
Oh,
yeah,
he was
it's
incredible, by the way.
yeah, yeah, it really is. It's just, yeah, I think I think people always look for an explanation, you know? Whatever
Mhm.
something is unexplainable, it scares us. Scares the hell out of us because we can't control it, you know? We can't
Mhm.
make sense of it. And that's why people look into conspiracy theories. I guess maybe a lot of them are true. A lot of them are complete bullshit. But I think, yeah, I don't really want to go into this all that deep. But I think a movie just like One Battle After Another. This also asks us some questions, like you said about loyalty, like Commander Dunn, lifelong friend of his, and then there's this woman coming up to him, being shot, being next to the victim, to the Secretary of Defense, telling him what she saw,
Mhm.
and he's like, that can't be true, and he was frustrated. Like his
Mhm.
world was turned upside down. I think for a lot of people nowadays, the world is turned upside down. Like what you see, what your reality is, and what your beliefs, they just
Mhm.
don't align anymore. And I
Mhm.
think that leaves just some people in a terrible desperation. And also, like from One Battle After Another, I guess like some people they weren't raised to be violent. They weren't raised to use violence and attacks against people, but they resort to them because they just don't see any other way out. And that is something we should be really careful with. Because
Mhm.
like everybody's got a breaking point, and it's good to listen to people. It's good to hear people's opinion and what they're going through and what their experiences are, and to listen to them and try to understand instead of just labeling them and trying to cancel them. I think it's important to listen to people and to hear them out, because sometimes they're hurting or they're going through something and we're not in their shoes, and to listen to them
Hmm.
and kind of try to make sense of what they're saying is I think is very important. And that's for the conspiracy theories. When it comes to the movie again, yeah, it makes sense that a lot of people online are comparing it to that. I saw the comparisons right away, even like when you just pitched me the premise of the movie. And like unfortunately we don't have a Nick Cage. We don't have a Nick Cage there brave enough to risk his own career. Not a lot of people are doing that, but still, like they kind of drown in the silence,
I'm
and
sorry.
everybody's thinking, yeah, what's that?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off right now.
Yeah,
I think that you
you want
do
to say
have
something?
brave people. Yeah, I think that you do have brave people out there. I think what is also happening right now, what is shifting right now, we might not have a Nicolas Cage, but we have a lot of great independent journalists that are opening their eyes. And I think that with social media, that
Hmm.
people are starting to question. And I think before it was a no-no. You've seen something on TV and it was almost like,
Hmm.
okay, you have to take it and run with it, and that's it. That's the truth right there. And now
Hmm.
I think what people are saying is we need to start questioning what's going on. We need to start
Yeah.
questioning this narrative. We need to start questioning what people are showing on TV. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? What we
Yeah.
reading in the news, what's going on in
Yeah.
politics, because something is just not right. We need to start questioning why these politicians were on that island, you know,
Yeah.
being blackmailed. And we're not going to stop questioning until we're getting an answer. Perfect example, if you go on TikTok and you check out Donald Trump's posts on TikTok, every post he puts on, everybody is asking to release the Epstein files. This has not stopped. Even though all this other commotion is going on the side, with people dying, with being a war and criminals and all of that, people are still questioning. And I think that is a scary narrative for the people up on top, because now they are able to put pieces together and they looking back and they saying to themselves, something is very odd. How is it possible that you have a movie called Snake Eyes, and it's
Mm.
chilling, that is almost as identical as what is going on right here and now? Could it be possible? Could it be possible that this was already planned? Like for instance with the Simpsons, episodes. I'm sure you heard about that, right? With the different Simpson episodes, and you seen Donald Trump being the president, and this was an episode that
Yeah.
was done years before he actually became
Yeah, yeah, I
president.
know that. Yeah, I know
So
the episode.
it's
Yeah.
exactly, so it's forcing people literally to question their reality, to take
Yeah.
power within themselves. And that's where this part goes in what you said earlier. We have to, there's a way that you can go about doing things. You don't have to always
Yeah.
resort to violence. You don't have to, you don't, but
The thing,
and
yeah.
that's a go ahead.
The thing is, like, you have to be careful to not become exactly what you're fighting against.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Yes.
that's like the thin line. Like the more violent you get, or the more um tools you use, just like your enemies, or the ones you're fighting against. Like the more it gets apparent that you turning out to be just like them, and that's why you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thin line, and it's people, like, they always think like it's just like a video game. There's like notifications going off when you do something, but there are no notifications, and most things just creep into you when you maybe lie awake, like, at night, and you think about stuff, and you realize, wow, I turned into this, I turned into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a notification, or like you got an achievement or something. You now turned into a psychopath. No, that slowly
Right.
happens. That happens slowly. You don't realize that. You might make excuses. The bad guys don't think of themselves as bad guys. They never do. They say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this for a reason. And those other guys are the bad guys. It never happens. And that's what I'm saying. Like, especially like in one battle after another, sometimes it seemed like, wow, they're using so drastic measures. Maybe they're turning into, especially exactly what they're fighting against. Like, they're also terrorizing people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're
Go
right. I
ahead.
agree with you. I was the one that
Yeah.
actually interrupted you, but yeah, go on.
Yeah. Uh. Anyways, yeah, I think it's good that people are actually being more careful what they read online. And I always encourage everybody, like, if you're on the left, if you're on the right, always make sure to fact check everything 2 to 3 to 4
But
times. Doesn't matter. Like, if you read something, double check. It just happened to me, actually. Like, I don't know, like, for all those who were rating on the stream, like, I didn't really announce it, which is my bad. But I was talking about that's actually going to be the next topic. We were gonna talk about the move from Marvel, that they're moving their production to the UK. And earlier, like, I was texting you, I was telling you, they're actually also moving productions to Germany, and apparently that's a
mhm,
hoax. And I was actually researching that last minute, and I changed on the thumbnail. I changed the flag from the European Union, which also includes Germany and all, um, um, to the UK flag. So always check your resources. Even like the guy is talking to you right now and telling you what to do, just me and Angel, like, or recommending stuff. We always gotta make sure that the resources are right, that is correct. We don't, because everybody can talk some bullshit, but if you, like, use your platform, if you got some followers, you gotta make sure that what you're saying is true, and you gotta put in the work, do the research. And it's like small things, like everybody's parroting like some message. They're moving their production to Germany or something, but it's not true. They're moving it to the
mhm.
UK. But I don't know. Let's not just yet go to that topic. You have still something to say to Snake Eyes and the Charlie Kirk, like the perils.
No, no.
All right. Then let's go to the next thing. Yeah, Marvel is moving their production from Georgia in the States to the UK, because
Yeah, man.
apparently, like, the labor cost is lower there, and they don't have
Mhm,
to subsidize the medical cost of their their staff.
mhm.
Yeah, what do you
About
think about that?
30,000 people are about to lose their jobs in Atlanta, Georgia, or 20,000, between 20 or 30,000.
That's a
I like
lot.
to. It's a lot, yeah. I think that decentralization. it's going to say cinema, because monopolies kill innovation. You got to look at it like this. When one system controls everything, you get risk-averse decision-making. So Hollywood's
Yeah.
entire model right now is what worked before. Do that again, but bigger, right? That's why we have
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
15, that's why we have had 15 years of superhero movies, endless reboots and sequels to sequels. You know, executives, So when executives in a few boardrooms in LA control what gets made globally,
Yeah.
they optimize for safe bets and not good cinema. So I
That's
think
true.
that the decentralization means more decisions makers, with different priorities, and a European studio might greenlight something that scares Hollywood. An
True.
Asian production company might take risks American studios won't. More centers of power, more variety in what gets made. So I think overall, Hollywood's problems can't be fixed from within. So look at it like this: like Hollywood's issues are really structural. You haven't lived in the States yet, right?
No.
Okay,
Just on
but I'm
vacation
sure
for a
you
little
know
bit.
about the insane real estate costs in LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about it. You have insane real estate costs in LA. You have loaded budgets because everything's expensive there. Healthcare is tied to employment, which makes labor costs skyrocket. Union
Yeah.
battles that create constant tensions, like the writer's strike and stuff like that. And then you have a culture of excess and waste that's baked into the system. So you can't fix those problems by making slightly different, decisions within the same system. The system
Yeah.
itself is the problem, and that's it. And Europe doesn't have those issues, because they built their film infrastructure after learning from Hollywood's mistakes. Lower costs, universal healthcare, government support, better work-life balance for crews, So when a system is broken, sometimes you don't fix it. You build a better one somewhere else. So people are getting tired of the same stories told the same way. Every blockbuster feels like it was made in a lab using the same formula, 3-act structure.
Yeah.
You got CGI, third acts, post-credit scenes. That stuff only works until it doesn't. And we're seeing the doesn't phase now. It doesn't work anymore. So audiences are tuning out because they're exhausted by sameness. We talk about it so much on this podcast. When
Yeah.
cinema is decentralized, you get stories that reflect different cultures, different storytelling,
Yeah.
traditions, the different storytelling of different traditions, different ways of thinking about narrative. A French blockbuster wouldn't feel like an American one. A Korean tentpole would have different rhythms. That is variety, and that is what keeps
True.
audience engaged long term. If the entire global film industry depends on one city, one system, what happens when that system fails? We literally are watching it right now. Hollywood is burning, like literally, it's
Yeah.
burning. You know what I'm saying? It's a metaphor, crazy as metaphor, but Hollywood is burning. Budgets are unsustainable. Strikes are constant. The economics are broken. And so think about it. You got to think about it as a business. In business, if
Yeah.
filmmaking is distributed across multiple hubs, so you have London, you have maybe Paris, you have Seoul, Mumbai, Toronto, then the industry can survive shockwaves better. But one region struggles, production shifts elsewhere. It's like not
Yeah.
putting all your eggs in one basket. So right now, if you want to
Well, that's
make
a
it
good
in a
idea
film,
anyways.
yeah, it is. Right now, if you want to make it a film, you basically have to, have to move to LA or work your way into the Hollywood system somehow. That means most of the world's talent never gets a real shot. But, how many brilliant directors do we have in Nigeria, in Brazil, in Germany, in London, in Thailand, who could make incredible films but can't get it because they're not plugged into Hollywood? Well, that is changing because of decentralization. You know what I'm saying? It's going to
True.
listen.
Yeah.
And I told people that a long time ago, and we talked about this on the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is
You
going to
did.
create multiple pathways to success. You can build a career in Europe cinema or Asia cinema or Latin American cinema without having to get validated by Hollywood first. That means more voices, more perspectives, better films overall. Hollywood is used to be the distributor, and the superpower. And let's not forget, Trump put those terrorists on, right?
Right.
He put those
Right. He
terrorists
did.
on. So this is going to have a trickle effect. So now that Hollywood used to be the superpower, they control theaters globally. So if you wanted to see a film like worldwide, you needed Hollywood. But now, what killed it? Streaming. Okay, you had Netflix,
Yeah,
Amazon,
that
Apple,
Netflix
Disney
does
Plus.
that, right?
And they are global platforms. A movie made in Spain now can reach audiences in Japan instantly.
And
You don't
Netflix
need
does
Hollywood's
that.
distribution. Yeah, you don't need Hollywood distribution. So why would
Yeah.
filmmaking stay centralized when distribution is already decentralized? It doesn't make any sense. Their system is collapsing. The industry structure should match the technology. And Hollywood is dying. It's dying. I'm telling you right now. It's dying.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way when you look
That's
at
my
it.
little 2 cents.
Like they want, yeah. It's a great 2 cents. I guess that's almost like $1. Anyway,
Love it.
yeah, I think I think you're perfectly right. I mean, like, I'm really sorry for all those people like in Georgia losing their jobs. I think that's like the downside of it. Like,
Yeah.
but as for like, yeah, I completely agree with you. People like worldwide are talented with producing movies. I mean, old-fashioned way, of course, Hollywood. They have the track record, of producing great movies. But right now, we can witness it like live, firsthand that they're struggling to bring out new movies and come up with original ideas. And like people like Paul Thomas Anderson, for example, he made it. But then again, like I can tell you, next year is going to be full of sequels again, or like prequels for stories we've heard like over and over. And the superhero genre, like they talk about superhero fatigue. I guess, like, yeah, you should bring in new talent, and Netflix is already doing that. When you got a Netflix subscription, you can see movies from all over the world. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the States. You also have movies from Asia. You have movies from UK. You have movies from Germany, even lots of different markets, and also new viewership. You got viewership from all over the world because they want to see their movies, kind of like with a when the World Cup is going on, soccer, like everybody's tuning in because they want to see their team. Not doesn't have to be really successful. I mean, that would be better, but then again, like they just tune in because they have some kind of loyalty to that, and that also brings new viewership. And when you look at the movies nowadays, they all really struggle to make in a billion, and the production costs are so high. They have to kind of make that to actually get even. And that's just, yeah. I think they're doing the right thing. And of course, Marvel, I mean, they got lots of stories to tell. It's such a big universe. Star Wars used to be the biggest IP, and well, it isn't no more. Not under Disney, not with Marvel, surpassing it. They got lots of stories to tell along with DC as well, but we see how that one pans out with DC. I think Superman, you watched it, you remember? I don't remember. Like, did you like it? You
I
didn't
watched
like it.
Super. I watched Super. I did not like it. We talked about
You
it, I
didn't like it,
believe.
right? Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't like.
last
We
stream,
actually we
I
did not really like it. Yeah, it was just. Oh, it was just. Oh yeah. I don't
But
know.
you know what I actually like? I actually like Peacemaker. It's the same director. It's James Gunn. He's got the uh the boss position at DC right now. He's in charge of them. And I think Peacemaker is he's a weird guy, and with a weird characters. James Gunn actually has that down. So long, like with Guardians of the Galaxy and just odd heroes, like anti-heroes. He's got that down. It's Superman, I think, for him, basically. I don't want to open that can again, but I think it's just too straightforward for him. It's just too heroic, too much of a role model for him to be successful with. But we'll see. Anyways, I think it's great that Marvel is doing that move, and yeah, we'll get more stories. We get better movies, and I'm all for that.
What do
I
you
love
think?
movies. Yeah.
What do you think what happened short term in the next 2 to 5 years with Marvel coming to Europe?
Hmm.
What do you
Well,
think would happen?
well, the thing is, their headquarters are still back in the States. It also depends a lot, like if Trump is going uh actually go through with the tariffs on the movies. I think they're I don't know, they'd probably have to pay like a shit ton just to produce them in the UK, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
they backtrack and they come back to the States because it's just not, you know, they can't get even with producing in the UK. Um, and they would have to pay on top, and it's just going back to the same formula. But I think like that right now they're you know, money wise and just with the stories and the characters and what movies they're greenlighting, I think they're really scared. I think they don't really they lost touch with the viewers, with the fans. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna have a hard time still. And we also have to keep in mind, like movies coming out now, movies coming out next year, they were produced beforehand, so can't see the change. You can't see the change yet. It's only gonna come around after a couple of years, where you can really see the progress of what people, you know, were just, you know, getting a grip on. It's gonna take some time. So maybe like in 5 years, you can really see the change that they listen,
Mm-hmm.
or if they double down. And personally, I think they don't really have a chance besides just listening to the fans, because not gonna go to the theaters. Like
Mm-hmm.
theater people don't really run to the theaters except like you get like a really good thing on the screen, or like like for example, like I guess the last really profitable movie for them was Deadpool and Wolverine. That's just because
Mm-hmm.
people were starved to look for another Deadpool movie. And you know, Deadpool, you can basically bring anybody along. It's just fun to watch, and they're not really so deep on lore that you know you don't know what's going on when you're in the theater. And yeah, people love Wolverine and they love Hugh Jackman, and Jackman said that he's not gonna do the role for a lot longer, and yeah, maybe even said like he called it quits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how that was,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think like health wise, he said he's not gonna do it anymore. But then like he agreed to do this movie because I don't know, him and Ryan Reynolds were talking, and that was the last real hit for Marvel. I guess like the Thunderbolts was good. Like we talked about that one on stream. I remember. But they
Mm-hmm.
don't really have a hit out of the door after Deadpool and Wolverine. They don't. So I think they'll be very careful. Maybe they cut some of the budgets, but I don't see that happening yet. So maybe let's see. You know what they're going to be doing in 5 years. Maybe they'll cut some budgets. Maybe they double down, which I don't think. Maybe they'll
Mm-hmm.
listen to the fans, what the fans really want. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's just, you know, the kind of work they put in and how carefully it was all shaped, with a, you know, having every Avenger having their own movie and then putting them in to a single movie. You have all those fans, you know, somebody likes Thor, somebody likes Captain America, somebody likes Iron
Mm-hmm.
Man. You have like really good movies, basically getting started by the first Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr. He was great in it. And you have the hype going up, going up, going up, and then with the first Avengers movie really just breaking the box office. Like it was really well done, and you just can you know pull that off just like out of thin
Mm-hmm.
air. And I guess like they try to do that and just try to say, yeah, eat the slob, eat the slob. Here's that movie. Here's another movie, and just have it. And you know, maybe we don't want to release a movie now. Watch the series, consume, 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 and that's not gonna happen. You know, like after a while, people will be like, oh, maybe you know, I should save that money. Maybe I should get myself, I don't know, like like some nice takeout or something instead. Maybe I should stream something else. Maybe I should buy a game, play a game, something like that. They were getting careful, the Marvel fans and the viewers in general. And I think like that's what they're going through right now. They have to kind of show their worth to the viewers, and they have to think about what to do next. And I think right now they're really looking at their chances, what they could do to get back in being successful. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that once Marvel is going to prove that the European model works at scale, other studios will follow immediately. You're gonna have Warner
Yeah,
Brothers, Paramount, what's Sony? Yeah, Sony, they're all
hmm,
watching this closely. And
yeah,
if Marvel's next phase is cheaper to produce and still make billions, it's over. The floodgates open.
yeah,
You know, I think that entire cheap, better incentives, fresh location, and mid-budget films that can afford international production, you
yeah,
know, that is stuck in the struggling U.S. system. I think that the American crews who built Hollywood for decades, they're about to get devastated. And
yeah,
like we said earlier, you said what, like we said 30,000 or 20,000 are losing their
yeah. About
their
that
jobs
number,
right
yeah,
now in Georgia. Yeah, like damn near like 50%. That's just the
hmm,
beginning.
yeah,
Imagine like the entire communities built around film production.
yeah,
Atlanta, New Orleans, they were also like hollow out. And
yeah,
eventually, I think that Europe, yeah, I think that eventually Europe will maybe like between 5 and 10 years, Europe becomes the new training ground and talent
yeah,
incubator for global cinema. Not just like European cinema, but like in my school, for instance, where I went to school with, you have a lot of people actually going to London for film school, and it's becoming big. Like
yeah,
film schools in London and in Prague and in Berlin, they start producing the next generation of blockbuster filmmakers
yeah. I
because
mean,
that's
been
where
like
the
that
work
for a
is
couple of
at.
years now.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. That's where the work is at. So you see a genuine culture shift in how movies are made now. Because
hmm,
the sensibilities in storytelling in
hmm,
Europe, it has less hand holding in Europe and more and more contradiction or ambiguity.
hmm,
It's different visual styles, okay, and it's more diverse. They have like a more diverse casting by default. You know,
yeah,
you already in Europe, so why fly everyone from LA? You understand what I'm saying? The entire the
yeah,
entire thing everyone is missing is once the infrastructure here and the talent pipeline is established, European studios won't need Hollywood anymore. So they'll start making their own tentpoles that completely directly like direct the Marvel movies and everything here. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a 200
hmm.
million European superhero franchise that doesn't feel like a Marvel clone because it's built on a different storytelling tradition. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think to that point, I mean, it was always kind of a thing that each Marvel movie is going to be different. Like you have, for example, Logan is kind of like a Western, and maybe like Captain America, Winter Soldier is like
Mm-hmm.
a spy movie. You always have them in different genres, and they're not supposed to look alike just because the parent company is Marvel, the production studio. And I think you're absolutely right. They got a chance to start it off afresh, and I think it's just a good chance for them to do that and to try new things. And I think Europe, like you said, is like people always talk about Europe like it's some country, but like it's it's not one country. It's like
Yeah, it's a
a union
continent,
of
man, with
a lot of,
different
yeah, it's
countries.
a continent exactly. You got
You
different
know what I
countries.
mean?
They couldn't be more they couldn't be more different, and you got of course this large cultural influence with all those countries, and you get a lot of
Mm-hmm.
talent, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of them, and I guess like when it comes to that, even though they got Brexit, the UK is also kind of, in the same basket still, like Europe, and they also got great talent over there. I mean, how many British actors you got running around nowadays? You got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, and they're some of them are even like still Shakespeare kind of trained.
Mm-hmm.
They got
Mm-hmm.
this traditional training, and they're really good. They're really, really good. And yeah, you got a chance to start it off new, and I think they really need it because right now they're stuck and they don't know how to move forward. And of course, like
Mm-hmm.
the Georgia, the impact of that is going to be
Mm-hmm.
really, really brutal on them.
Devastating. Yeah.
It's going to be devastating, but I think like they just have to figure out, they have to go with the times. And like you said, the other studios are watching right now, and if Marvel can pull it off, everybody's going to follow. They're going to jump on the
It is.
bandwagon. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that Hollywood, will disappear.
No.
Because I think that what happens is it's going to become what it was before, just the studio system, a regional industry, not the global center.
Yeah.
I think that movies will still be made there, but they'll be like, I don't know, boutique productions, prestige projects, things like,
Yeah.
that benefit from the Hollywood brand, But the
Yeah.
real power, it shifts to whoever controls distribution, not
Yeah.
production.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the streaming platforms that we talked about, which are already globally, like it running things, Netflix and
Yeah.
Amazon and stuff like
Yeah.
but they don't care where you film. They're all about the content
No.
that works worldwide. But the studios also have to figure out, it's a business move. They're budgeting, like how
Yeah.
much money can they
Yeah.
save? You mentioned Europe earlier, different countries in Europe. You talking about different locations to film. You
Yeah.
talking about different climates to go to. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
back then, you wanted to shoot a movie, somewhere in the cold with snow and maybe Switzerland or something like that. Like
Mhm.
it will cost Hollywood a lot of money to fly out the entire crew or have a unit, stationed over there to film that scene.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive, you know. But if you have your production set up here in Europe, it's completely different. It is
Yeah.
much better and much more cost efficient too. But I think we cannot forget about China, because while everyone is
Yeah.
focused on the US and European shift, China is building their own massive film infrastructure. Because if Hollywood weakens and Europe rises, China might take a play to become the third pole of the global cinema. Especially for Asia and the emerging markets. You know,
Yeah.
so it's almost like you have Europe taking over blockbusters, and art houses and stuff like that. Then you have Hollywood, they taking care of like these legacy brands, and then you have China who's really controlling like the Asian market. You know, the
Mhm.
mass on a massive scale. So long term, like I mentioned earlier, monopoly kills creativity. And when only
It
one
does.
city controls global cinema, you get just nonsense kind of like storytelling. But when the power is distributed, you get more of a variety, more risk taking, more voices.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you asked me a while ago. You said, "Do you think that Europe?" I think, well, I asked you. I'm not too sure
Mhm.
how it went, but the conversation went somewhere with, okay, does Europe or does Germany, would Germany or Europe have the framework for that when this is
Yeah.
happening? And not to mention, I did not mention to you, they about to invest $2 billion. From what I've read, $2 billion into not Germany per se, but in England. The studios, they're
Yeah.
about to invest $2 billion in the next 5 years. And so, do they have the framework? I think over the years they learned a lot from Hollywood's mistakes, and I think that they do have the framework. Now with China, honestly speaking, I'm not even worried about China, because some of the movies that China is putting out, it's like on a whole nother level. That their way of creating art, their style of creating art is on a
Mhm.
complete different level. Like you can't even compare. It's the same with Indian movies. They go on. They have a different formula on how they do their movies.
Yeah.
And it's the, how do you say it? Abwechslung. It's
Yeah,
the I guess
well, it's you know, it's just kind of diverse. It's the
it's
diversity.
a diversity again. Exactly, it's a level of diversity. So I don't think that European filmmakers won't just copy like Marvel's formula, but they'll subvert in it. They will
Yeah,
challenge it. They will build on it. So I think that the US is losing, okay, really bad, and I think that Europe and Asia market, streaming platforms, and the global audiences, and filmmakers who can work internationally and adapt to different systems, I think those are the winners. I think those are the
yeah.
winners.
Survival
I
of the
think
fittest,
those
you
are the
know?
winners. This is about an entire industry realizing that the 20th century model doesn't work in the 21st century that Hollywood was
Yeah.
built on. And that's it. And so I love this conversation. I'm so passionate about this conversation because,
Yeah.
this is something that we often talk about in our podcast, how we need something new, something fresh, and we keep on
Yeah.
getting these reboots and it's just outdated and stuff like that. But I think that they feel, and even in the market, the frustration. People are not really going to the movie theaters anymore to watch movies. Everything is streaming, and what they producing is just like really crap. A lot of people, they rather want to see like a series now instead of an actual movie, because what Hollywood is producing is just crap. Or if they do watch a movie, a lot of times they rather watch something with subtitles, like
Mm,
Parasite from China, that movie that was produced in China, Parasite, who won an Oscar, who was the first
yeah.
international foreign movie to win an Oscar that had subtitles. You know, like that movie was insane. I mean, it's from the cinematography all the way down to the screenplay, all the way down to the graphic of it, to the shots that they were doing, to the music. I mean,
Mm.
mwah, that's all I can say.
Chef's
So I
kiss.
mean, yeah, it is a chef's kiss. It is a chef's kiss. So we watching history happening right now, and the question is, if Hollywood's era is going to end, it's really just what comes next, and whether that's better or worse for the art form. Period.
I guess like you know, evolving and evolution is always going to be good because
Hmm.
sometimes you have a lifespan of something of a trend, and if that trend is just dying out, you need to have some new blood. And I think
Hmm.
that's perfectly right, and especially with Marvel, like they had such big successes, and
Hmm.
now they're really they don't know what's working anymore. So it's good that they're actually trying something new. And I guess we'll find out. Like it's gonna take some years, obviously, since like productions take a long time. Uh, like from the beginning, from conception of a movie till the shoots and the VFX and everything. By the way, you know what I wanted to say, like completely off topic. You said like
Hmm.
overuse of CGI. Did you see like the behind the scenes material of John Wick, of the John Wick movies, the
No, I
VFX
haven't.
breakdowns? Those are crazy. Those are crazy. Like they're right now they're on the web, they're on YouTube and on social media. You can watch
Hmm.
them. There's VFX breakdowns. You wouldn't believe how much in those movies is CGI, but it's just invisible. And I think that's like the art form of CGI that that it is like it's only I guess like the most people they complain about CGI if it's really visible, but
Hmm.
if it's invisible to the eye that you just you see something in a movie and you're like yeah of course it's real. And it's really CGI. I think that's like the strength of CGI. That's how it's supposed to be. And with the John
Hmm.
Wick movies, a lot of it is like, especially the third part when they really amped it up. It's really well done. When you think of especially like the knife scene, a lot of that, all the knives are CGI, and you don't see that.
Hmm.
That's crazy. It's really nice. Anyways, yeah, I guess we're gonna see about that one. And like you said, it's very good topic, and it's an interesting discussion about whether they'll be able to pull it off in the UK and actually change up the market and roll with it. I guess we'll see. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess we're all through with our topics, and You know what's coming up next? Movies. I guess there's this movie. Did you hear about the new movie with Channing Tatum? There's like
No,
this.
I have not.
There's there's a new movie coming out with Channing Tatum, and I guess the movie is about a real story of a guy who's like breaking into, I guess, McDonald's restaurants, and he was very nice though when he was breaking in and robbing them. So it was very polite. Got him into the freezer. Gave the guy the keys though, so they could get back out when he was done. And when they actually found out who he is and what he was doing, they were chasing him down, and he used to sleep and just live out of a Toys R Us and had like a section. And I don't know, it was really really wild, but it sounds like
Hmm.
a fun premise. So I don't know if you've heard about it, probably not, but that
No,
one's
I have
actually
to.
coming out in Europe. I guess it came out the day before yesterday. Not sure. It's out in the States for like 2 weeks or so. Pretty similar, like
Okay.
one battle after another release date. Yeah, maybe let's check out that
Yeah,
one.
one. Yeah, we could definitely do that. And like Jay said, I mean, movie crank.
You're cranky, but I'm also
I,
known as Jay. That's
yeah,
true.
Jay, yeah. But I meant to say, he's right on about the John Wick with the VFX breakdown.
Yeah.
I can only like recommend it what he said because I'm seeing some things right here and I am amazed. I mean, yeah, you definitely should if you definitely should watch some behind the scenes of that stuff. This is incredible stuff that you just told me,
Hmm.
dude. This is incredible.
It is.
Wow. This is this
And you
is
don't
this is
think of
like
those
almost
movies
like
as being CGI, really?
and the question is and if you think about it, can you imagine how much power they had to use to do that? Like the power on a computer or server or something
Yeah,
like that to process
crazy.
all of that, bro. And that makes me question, is it that why? What we did talk about briefly what the budget was for that movie, right? Johnny Wick
Yeah,
4
yeah,
budget.
yeah.
Do you really think that budget was that high because of that?
Well, it's also promotional costs, they skyrocket
Well,
these
it's
things.
$100 million was the budget, and the box office was 447.3 million. So
For which
that's
one?
not bad, but for the Johnny Wick Chapter 4,
Really?
that's the one that we just watched, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't remember. I don't remember like making that much. Like I thought it was really like on the verge of not being profitable. Like
No,
they
it
were.
actually
I
was.
don't know. Ballerina was the one. Ballerina was the one.
Oh, Ballerina, Johnny Wick
Ballerina didn't
Ballerina.
really break even.
It still didn't,
No, which sucks because I thought
dude.
it was really good.
Yeah,
Of
you're
course,
right.
like
90
she's not
million.
gonna replace John Wick. It's not gonna be her
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's our new title of character. No, but
yeah, yeah.
it was decent, and like they especially like they got it down. Like people say like, oh, it's another woman in an action series. It doesn't work. Yes, of course it does work. Of course it works.
Of
You just
course it works.
gotta do
Yes.
it right. Just gotta do it
Yeah,
right,
but
and they did it right.
mm,
Yeah.
but I told you I wasn't really too much of a fan of that movie because it was the ballerina. It was like the same thing over and over again. What was it that I told you about? What was that? Colombiana. Ain't this
Colombiana.
is not
Yeah.
even this doesn't even hit close to Colombiana. It's the same storyline, ballerina. It was just a boring movie to me. I mean, there were some things that were okay. We talked about it, but you look at the numbers. 90 million was the budget, and 137 million was made in the box office.
That's
Dude,
the ballerina numbers.
yes, those are ballerina numbers.
Well,
Colombiana was made when in 2000 and
it's
when
early
was that movie
2000s.
made? 2000, early 2000. Yeah,
Yeah.
that movie was made early 2000. Look at that. 2011 actually was that movie made.
Well, really?
Damn, but that wasn't hitting as well. That it didn't break even as well. I'm in shock. Dude, the budget was 40
Hey,
million and the
and
box
so
office
it
was
held
36.
So is Aldana. She's doing a great job in Lioness too. So if you guys haven't watched Lioness, check out Lioness. Like I would
Lioness?
like for all those Taylor Sheridan movies, like I could do like episode breakdowns for each one of them. Like I wanted to, but it's just too much work. Like I wouldn't see the light of day again. But
Really?
yeah, but like those are, oh
Lioness.
my god, Lioness. Like if you got time, check it out.
Lioness?
It's so great.
And this is and who plays in that?
It's like a Taylor Sheridan production. It's got Morgan Freeman, I guess that's the vice president.
Okay,
It's
Special Ops Lioness.
yeah. Taylor Sheridan himself got a little cameo, but I think like that's gonna piss off a lot of people because he's not too popular with a lot of people because sometimes he's just playing like a prick. But I think it's funny when just popular people, you know, they decide to play a prick in a series and they're not making like a some kind of mystery about it. They're just playing the prick. It's just funny for me. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's Aldana. It's the guy who it's like Lee, the son from Yellowstone. I don't know what the actor's name is. Um,
Oh man,
yeah,
I love
and
me
Nicole
some
Kidman. Nicole Kidman is in that one too.
Nicole Kidman. Okay.
And a bunch of other really known actors, but really, it's just about,
Nicole
you know,
Morgan Freeman, Tad Luckenbill,
yeah,
Michael Kelly, Genesis Rodriguez. Oh, interesting. The Monica Garrett. What?
yeah.
Jill
Yes,
Wagner.
and it's just, you know, you just see like the everyday life if you're working like in a unit like that, in a military unit, and just, you know, the consequences of not just, you know, being in battle and just being in a firefight, the PTSD, but also like the impact it has on the people on their private lives back at home. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
very well done. It's not some kind of trope fest, you know, where you just see like, yeah, of course, like she can't get it right at home, and like maybe she's like a loser or something. No, she's really trying hard, you know. You got like real adults, you know, with her with her husband, you know, trying to look after the kids. It's just mature characters, you know. It's not just some made up bullshit from somebody who hasn't had a family of their own, you know, like the dad is always an
Mm-hmm.
idiot. The mom is kind of fixing everything. No, they're both flawed, but they're really trying
Mm-hmm.
hard. And I think it's just great. Like you just
Mm-hmm.
see everyday people um doing their best to make it in life. And I think it's just, yeah, it's almost wholesome, you know. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
wholesome. It's just great series. I like to watch it. Yeah.
I have to
But
check it out.
we were talking about Colombiana. Yeah, like it's a long time ago that I watched that one, but it's basically, you're right. It's the same premise. Like it's
Same
just a
concept.
revenge story, really. And yeah, that it's true. Ballerina, like the story isn't really original at all. But I just think like the way they pulled it off, like I think it's got extreme potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like if only they were getting out and maybe like show another story, I think they could totally pull that off, and I think they got the right people for that. But then again, like so many productions nowadays, without stretching it and opening like another can and after another can, so many productions nowadays, they got insane potential, but like what they're
Mm-hmm.
pulling off, what they're bringing to the table is just, it's underwhelming, which
Mm-hmm.
sucks. But the potential is there. You got the right people. It's just
You
there's
got the right people.
few things missing, and that's what makes it not as
Mm-hmm.
good.
I definitely would like to sometime in the future. We can definitely, if anybody's interested, talk about A24 films. You know,
A24, yeah,
yeah, which is started as a distributor and worked its way up, basically, you know, creating movies like Moonlight, some really big time movies, some incredible movies. And
mhm.
you know, I have some favorites on there, but you know, maybe we could do like a A24 marathon, you know, and watch like 3 films from them and rate them. But A24, what I like about them is um, they're not really influenced by Hollywood. When you look at the directors, they give their directors creative film freedom, and that's why they create in the movies that they do. And it's incredible. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not just a production company and a distributor, but it's also, you know, a brand. A24 became a brand, literally, you know. I definitely,
Crazy.
maybe and it's like almost like the innovative, innovative, production company that we have never seen before, and how they going about and producing, and also, working, how they working with their crew and with the directors and with the writers, and they seem like they are really ahead of the future, ahead of the
Mhm.
future, and really open-minded. I mean, I would definitely, maybe we can pick out some really good, and the bad movies, you don't see them, the bad movies that they do produce, or that I'm not saying that. I mean, everybody, let me take that back. Not movie. There is no such thing as a bad movie, but the movies that don't get a lot of hit, they know, how um they kind of like put it under the table without people noticing. So there is a
Okay.
really interesting marketing strategy that they have, because their brand really grew
Oh,
because
they got
of word
Spring
of
Breakers.
mouth.
That's the bad movie right there.
Spring Breakers, I watched Spring Breakers, I yeah, it was a bad movie, but it gained a lot
Yeah,
of traction. I ain't gonna lie. I remember everybody was talking about the movie back then.
that's
When I
true.
just
Yeah.
watched it recently, I was just like, I'm like, that movie wasn't all that. But I understand back in the days, at that time, with social media, and how it was just spreading everywhere. And a lot
Yeah.
of people that I came across, they told me they love that movie, Spring Breakers. They love that movie, But I watched it, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But they like the one I'm watching the movie the videos you sent me, and they got quite the repertoire, really.
Yeah, they have a great
You got a lot of
catalog.
great
They
movies.
have a
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They really, 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 really do. And I mean, and that's why. And that's why, people rather want to sit here watch an A24 movie than a Hollywood blockbuster, And it's like I said, if you go on their website, you go on their website, you see films, television, docs, and shop. When you click on shop, clearly that means that you can actually buy shirts. You can actually buy, shirts from them. You can actually buy immobilia, like
Yeah.
bags and stuff like that. Like, it's a brand. They made it cool, you know. They made
True,
it cool.
true.
And I think that a lot of people should use them as an example, especially for business, pertaining to
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. Like we can watch some if you want to, and we can also kind of like pre-record them and for you guys to watch. Like it's
Hmm.
gonna be a different format. I don't know if you're into that, but I see a lot of them on YouTube, so it's gonna be
Hmm.
working. And it's just
Have you seen
kicking back and watch the movie. Watch a movie together and we'll talk all over it. I think that might be
bags?
fun.
Yeah, I think so too. Different form, but we could give it a try. Have you
Yeah.
seen the movie Moonlight?
No, but I've
Okay.
seen they won what they won an Oscar, right?
Yes,
Like,
they
or
did.
they
It
won
was definitely
Oscars, multiple ones, right?
they did, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen. I think I've seen the show where they got him. Yeah,
Yeah, it is something to yeah. We'll do a review on that another time, because it was definitely
sure.
I I agree why it deserved an Oscar, So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that movie put A24 on the map. Literally. It was that
When
movie.
was that? When was that?
Ooh, that was
Some time ago, right?
2014, 2014,
Yeah, that makes sense.
2015, yeah, I think it was about 2015, 2016. I think
That
Moonlight when
was
it came out.
that was back when I
Moonlight.
still watched the Oscars.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Back then I
2016.
still
There
did
you
it.
go.
Huh?
Written and directed by Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
I was actually living in Miami at that time when they were actually
Oh,
doing the
cool.
production. Yeah, they were actually doing the filming, because it's based in Miami. And one of the guys that was in my car, he was actually one of the person working on set, like an extra or something like that, to make some extra money. And I actually dropped
Cool.
them off at one of the locations. Yeah,
That's
very
so cool. You
interesting. And
gotta,
then
you
years
gotta, you gotta tell us more about that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then years later, I came across the movie, and I watched it. I finally had the time, and I went ahead and I did so. And so, yeah, man. Yeah, that was interesting. Huh?
Definitely.
Give it to me. What happened? Oh, sorry. So yeah.
All
But
right.
other than
So
that,
hey,
yes.
I don't know. I guess like we're also like out of time.
We
So
what?
let's I guess like we're out of time. Uh, you also got company over.
I just have the wifey coming over right now.
All right, all right. No, no. Hey, like we did all the topics. I guess like if you guys want us to like do some live streams with movies or like pre-recorded ones, I guess we're gonna pre-record them because it's just gonna be easier to do it that way
Hmm.
and not I don't know like read comments or something like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
alongside.
we pre-record them, yeah.
Yeah, we pre-record them and you guys can check it out. And I guess like we're yeah, we'll do another live stream soon, and maybe we'll do one about the Channing Tatum movie. And I don't know what else you got.
We would have to check out what are some of the new releases in movies.
I gotta look into that. But the Channing Tatum one I know is right around the corner. I guess like I guess like a Marvel. I guess Marvel still got something. But I don't know. But I don't know. We'll
Well,
look
right,
into that. Okay, like
right.
tell
Well,
the folks where they can find you.
yeah. Well, you already know intimate moments. Oh, follow me on Instagram, director at ATZ.
Yeah, and we also got to do the you also got to do that podcast, right? You
Yes,
said like
sir.
next year you're gonna start with those, so already
Yes, sir.
subscribe and be ready for when the videos drop, or like the sound files. I don't know how you want to do that.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, and you guys obviously can find me on Instagram too, same handle, at Cranky at the Movies, and yeah, we'll looking forward to you joining us next time at our next live stream. Right. So much for that.
Alrighty.
Bye
Later.
bye.
Bye.